I'm Earl Whitman. I'm 74 years old. I entered prison at 19 for homicide, and I just got out. I served 55 years. I wasted my entire existence. Let me tell you what happened. I'm sitting here alone in this little apartment they gave me near Deming Park in Terre Haute. It's my first year of freedom, and the weight of all that lost time, it's crushing me. It's a physical thing. You see, I'm a ghost. I've been a ghost since 1970. I need to say this out loud. It started on a hot, boring Friday night in August 1970. I was 19. I was living in my parents' house. It was a rigid, cold place. My two older brothers had already escaped. One joined the army. The other just left town. But me? I was the last one stuck there. I was working as a gas station attendant. I had some high school. I felt like a failure. I was just simmering, you know? Angry at the world, angry at everything. And I had nowhere for that anger to go. That pressure had to blow. It finally did that night. I was at a bar. I wasn't drinking much. I was just nursing a beer and my bad mood. And then this man bumped into me. He was older, well-dressed. He spilled my drink. He smirked at me. He didn't apologize. He called me a clumsy kid. That smirk. Listen, that smirk was every dismissal I'd ever gotten. From my brothers, from my father, from this whole town. It was all in that one look. I felt hot. I felt small. The argument followed me outside. I couldn't let it go. We were in the parking lot. The gravel was crunching under our feet. He shoved me. I stumbled back. My car was there. My trunk was open. I had a tire iron in there from fixing a loose bumper earlier in the day. My hand closed around it. The metal was cold. It was heavy. It wasn't a decision. It was just there. And then everything was heat and motion. I swung. I felt the connection. But it's not the thud I remember most. It's the silence that came after. Just this deafening quiet in the parking lot. Him on the ground, me standing there, the tire iron still in my hand. My heart was hammering. I couldn't hear anything but that silence. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard. That silence was broken by the first distant siren. They came so fast. I didn't run, I just stood there. They put me in the back of the police cruiser. They cuffed my hands. I looked down at my knuckles. They were scraped. They were bloody. And that's when the cold understanding hit me. It felt like ice water in my veins. This is it. This is the rest of your life. My old life was over, just like that. They booked me. The charge was homicide. My parents came to see me once, in that county jail. My brothers never did. The shame was too much for them. Honestly, it was too much for me too. I told my parents not to come back. I severed the ties myself. It was easier than seeing their disappointment. So at 19, I was truly alone. Widowed before I could ever marry. Childless. And then the decades began. The first of 55 years. Prison isn't living, it's existing. You become a ghost. You watch the world move on through letters, then through TVs. Then you hear whispers about things like the internet. You hear about other people's lives, families, careers, grandkids, things you'll never have. The man I killed was gone, but the 19-year-old Earl died that night too. I've been haunting my own life ever since. They paroled me after 55 years. They gave me this apartment. I walked through Deming Park. The trees were bigger. Everything was smaller, louder, faster. I'm 74. I have no family. I have no skills from this century. I'm free, but I have nothing to do with my freedom. The waste of it. It's absolute. It's complete. So why am I telling you this? It's not for sympathy. I understand something now I couldn't grasp at 19. Time is the only currency that matters. And I spent mine all at once. I spent it on one violent, stupid moment. I bought nothing but this regret. Anger is a luxury. That feeling of being disrespected, it's a trap. It costs you everything. So here is my advice. The only thing of value I have left to give. Walk away. Just turn around and walk. From the argument, from the insult, from that hot feeling in your chest. The temporary satisfaction of winning a fight is a lie, a complete and total lie. The permanent cost is your soul. It's your next 55 years. That man's smirk in that bar, it meant nothing. It was air. My reaction meant everything. It was concrete. It built these walls I lived in. You see, in prison you have a lot of time to replay that one moment, to edit it. In my head, I've walked away 1,000 times. I've just turned, gotten in my car and driven off. I've gone home to that cold, rigid house. I've gone back the next day to my job at the gas station. In my head, I lived a whole other life. A boring life. A simple life. A life. But in reality, I didn't walk. My feet were rooted to that gravel by my own pride. And pride is the cheapest, most expensive thing you can carry. Let me tell you about a moment inside. This was maybe year 20, 1990. I was in the yard. I got into it with another inmate. Over what? A magazine. A stupid magazine. He said it was his. I said I had it first. The same old heat started in my gut. The same feeling. My hands clenched. And I looked at this guy, this man who had also thrown his life away on some stupid moment, and I saw myself. I saw the 19-year-old kid in the parking lot, and I just stepped back. I let him have the magazine. I walked to the other side of the yard. My heart was pounding, but not from anger, from fear. I was terrified of myself. I was terrified that the man who ruined everything was still right here, inside me. That he could do it again, even with nothing left to lose. That was the first time I really walked away. 31 years too late. Honestly, that's the work. Every day after that was about walking away from the anger. The anger at the system, the anger at the guards, the anger at myself, The anger at my brothers for leaving me in that house, at my parents for making it that way. You have to let it go, or it eats you alive. It becomes your only companion, and it's a liar. It tells you you're right. It tells you you're justified. It tells you the world owes you. The world doesn't owe you a thing. Your time is yours. That's it. And I gave mine away. When I got out, they gave me a parole officer, a young guy, maybe 30. He was trying to be helpful. He said, "Mr. Whitman, you have to think about your future now. Maybe a job, some community." He meant well, but I wanted to laugh. A future? I'm 74. My future is a doctor's appointment and trying to figure out how to use a cell phone. My community is the ghosts in this apartment. The ghost of the man I could have been. The ghost of the wife I never met. The ghost of the kids who don't exist. I went to Deming Park last week, sat on a bench, watched a young father push his little girl on a swing. She was laughing. He was smiling. It was a simple moment, a free moment, and it felt like a knife in my side. Not because I was jealous of him, but because I was jealous of the time he had. He had decades of those moments ahead of him. Mornings, nights, birthdays, quiet Tuesdays. He had currency. He had wealth. And he probably didn't even know it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You have a gift I threw away. Your next 5 minutes. Your next hour. Your next year. They're precious. You think they're ordinary, but they're not. They're everything. They're precious. You think they're ordinary, but they're not. They're everything. And I gave all of mine away for nothing. Let me tell you about the worst day inside. It wasn't the first day. That was all shock. It wasn't the fights or the lockdowns. It was an ordinary Tuesday. It was maybe 2005. Year 35 for me. I was in the library. I was looking at a newspaper someone had left behind, the Terre Haute Tribune, and there, in the obituaries, I saw my father's name. He was gone. He died 2 weeks earlier. No one had told me. I just sat there, staring at his name in black and white. It listed his survivors, my mother, my 2 brothers, their wives, their children, grandchildren, a whole column of names. My name wasn't there. I had been erased, officially. I wasn't a survivor. I was a ghost. I sat in that plastic chair in that quiet library, and I felt it, the full, final weight of what I'd done. It wasn't about the man I killed anymore, not in that moment. It was about the life I killed, my own. I had severed the ties, but seeing it printed like that, it made it real. I was no one's son, no one's brother. I was a number in a file. I didn't cry. I just sat there. I felt hollow. Like all the anger and the regret had finally burned out and left nothing but ash inside. That was the day I truly understood wasted. It's not just the time, it's the connections. It's the love you don't get to give. It's the empty chair at the table. I was that empty chair, and I put myself there. A few years later, my mother's name was in that same paper. Same thing. No one told me. I found out by accident. By then I expected it. It still hurt, but it was a dull hurt, an ache you learn to live with, like a bad joint. You just move a little slower. Here's the hardest part to say, the part that shames me more than the violence. In all those 55 years, I never once thought about his family, the man I killed. Not really. I thought about the act. I thought about my own misery, my own loss. It took me decades to lift my head up and look past my own pain to see what I'd truly done. I remember this counsellor they made us see. This was in the late 90s. He was talking about victim impact. He asked me, "Oh, what do you think his family felt that night?" And I gave some textbook answer. I said, they were probably sad, angry. The counsellor just looked at me. He said, "His wife was 8 months pregnant, Earl. She heard the news from a detective on her front porch. She collapsed. She lost the baby. 2 lives, 1 swing." I couldn't breathe. I just stared at him. I'd never known. I'd never let myself know. I'd made him a symbol in my head, a smirk in a bar. Not a husband, not a father-to-be. I'd robbed a woman of everything, a child of everything. I'd created ghosts too. That broke me. More than the obituaries, more than the silence in the parking lot. That knowledge. It sat on my chest. It still does. I can't fix it. I can't ever make that right. Saying, "I'm sorry," is a joke. It's nothing. It's air. So when I say I wasted my existence, I don't just mean I lost my own life. I mean I took life. I erased futures. I created a hole in the world that can never be filled. And I spent 55 years in a concrete box feeling sorry for myself. That's the waste, the sheer, ugly selfishness of it. When I got this apartment, they gave me a box of my old things from 1970. From evidence. There wasn't much. A wallet, some change, a St. Christopher medal I didn't remember carrying, and a photograph. A picture of me and my 2 brothers taken in Deming Park. We were kids. I was maybe 10. We were smiling, really smiling. I looked at that boy's face. That was before the house turned rigid, before the anger set in. That boy had a chance. I put that picture on the little table in this apartment. I look at it every day. I look at that kid and I want to scream at him. Walk away. Just walk away. But I can't. He can't hear me. He's gone. That's the realization. That's the weight. It's not just that I'm old and alone. It's that I chose this. One reaction, one swing. And I chose it for a woman I never met, for a child never born, for my parents, for my brothers, for that 10-year-old boy in the photo. I chose all of this for them. And now I'm here, in this quiet apartment. The park is right there. The world is right there. But I'm not in it. Not really. I'm still in that parking lot. I'm still hearing that silence. I'll always be there. So what do you do with that? When the waste is total, when the regret is so big it has its own gravity, you can't fix it. You can't go back. All you have is the next 5 minutes, and you have to decide what to do with them. All you have is the next 5 minutes, and you have to decide what to do with them. Here's what I decided. I can't fix the past. I can't bring that man back. I can't give that woman her husband or her child. I can't get my brothers back. I can't be a son again. But I can use these 5 minutes and the next to tell you the truth. The ugly, simple truth I learned in that concrete box. Anger is a thief. It doesn't steal from the person you're mad at. It steals from you. It picks your pocket of your future. I let a stranger's smirk, a shove in a parking lot, rob me of everything. I handed it over. I traded 55 years for the feeling of being right for 5 seconds. Worst deal ever made. You think it won't happen to you. You think you're in control. That's the lie. I was a gas station attendant with some high school simmering in a rigid house. I felt powerless, and in that moment, with that tire iron, I felt powerful. For 1 second. That's the trap. The moment you feel that surge, that heat telling you to make them respect you, to make them pay attention, that's the moment to run. Not toward them, away. My advice isn't complicated. It's the hardest, simplest thing. Swallow your pride. Let the insult go. Let the shove go. Let the smirk go. It will feel like you're losing. It will feel like you're weak. I'm telling you, walking away is the strongest thing you'll ever do. It takes more guts to turn your back than it does to swing. I didn't have those guts. Look where it got me. If you're young, listening to this old man ramble, hear this. Your life is not this one big story you tell later. It's a million tiny choices. What you do after work, how you talk to the cashier, whether you argue with the guy who cuts you off. You're building your life brick by brick with those choices. I took one brick, a heavy, stupid brick of rage, and I smashed my whole foundation. Don't do that. Just lay the next brick gently. Go home. If you're older and you're carrying regrets, maybe not as big as mine, but regrets all the same, it's not too late to lay down the weight. I'm 74. I'm just learning how. The regret doesn't go away. You just learn to carry it differently. You use it to remind you that the time you have left, however much it is precious. Don't waste it refighting old battles in your head. That's just another prison. I have no family, no children to warn, so I'm warning you. You, sitting there watching this. That's my legacy now, this warning. Don't be me. This is why I'm talking to this camera. This channel. They let people like me share these hard stories. Maybe so someone else doesn't have to. If what I've said tonight this confession of a wasted life. If it means something to you, then do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications, not for me, but for yourself, so you hear the next story, the next lesson from someone who's lived it. Maybe it'll be the thing that clicks for you on some bad night. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, what's the thing you're holding on to that you need to walk away from? Is it a grudge, a resentment, a feeling that the world owes you? Saying it out loud, even just typing it, takes away some of its power. I'm reading them, I promise. If this hit you, hit that like button. It's a small thing, but it tells the algorithm to show this to one more person who might need to hear it. Share it. Share it with a hot-headed kid. Share it with a friend who's always in fights. You might not think they'll listen. I wouldn't have listened at 19, but you plant the seed anyway. And if you have a story of your own, a lesson you learned the hard way, something that could keep someone else from the pain you felt, there's a form in the description. Tell them. Your story has value. Your pain doesn't have to be wasted. It can be a signpost for someone else. Road closed. Go another way. They gave me a book inside once, near the end, by a woman named Joan Chittister, The Gift of Years. It's about not regretting getting old. I wish I'd read it at the beginning, not the end. There's a link to it down there if you want it. It helped me understand that even now, even after all this, there can be purpose in the telling, in the warning. Don't waste your existence. Don't end up like me, a ghost in a park, haunted by a silence from 1970. Your life is happening right now, in your next breath, in your next choice. Choose to walk away. Choose to be free. High quality voice.